Some pretty notable NFL news dropped today, and I'm wondering if the Bears could possibly get involved. We'll explain on today's show. My name is Harrison Graham, and listen, I launched TikTok a couple weeks ago. I kind of was like, you know what? Do I want another social media platform in my life? And it's like, well, if you're a content creator, you should probably be publishing everywhere. So I'm on TikTok. Thank you guys so much. If you followed already, we crossed 1,000 followers. My goal is 1,200 by 2026. Got about a day and a half left. So if you want free NFL, Bears, some college football, TikTok posts from yours truly, give me a follow at HGramNFL. The Dallas Cowboys have cut cornerback Trevon Diggs, and could the Bears possibly bring him in? That's what we're going to discuss here on today's show. Let's get to the news part of this first, of why he's been cut and what is next for him. He is hoping to land with a playoff team. I think that's part of why this happened now. Things had kind of gone sour in Dallas, and they were going to cut him this offseason, but they just do it now. He's got a chance to sign with the playoff team, and we'll see what happens. Tom Pelissero adds the financial note of if a team claims him, because remember, all players are subject to waivers after the NFL trade deadline if they get cut. It's almost $500,000, plus he's got more years left on his deal. I don't think there's any guarantees left, so I guess in theory someone could claim him and then just cut him if it doesn't work out after this season. But I do not expect him to get claimed. I don't think a team is going to claim him, pay him $500,000 without knowing if he's actually going to start, be a factor, etc. I think he'll clear waivers, and then he will sign with a football team between now and the start of the playoffs. Now, should the Bears be interested? That's what you guys want to know. That's what I want to know. That's what we're going to explore here on Chicago Bears Now. And I do think there is some reason why they should have some interest. Now, obviously, on paper and, in reality, the Bears have three outside corners that they probably feel pretty good about. Jaylon Johnson's been back for 3 or 4 weeks now. Nahshon Wright, for the most part, has had a good year, although he did not play well last week. Tyrique Stevenson is back and healthy as well. That's 3 starting caliber outside corners. Trevon Diggs is an outside cornerback. So they do have 3 outside corners they like. Trevon Diggs can't rush the passer, so he's not going to fix that problem for you. But just because they have 3 corners they like doesn't mean it's the perfect situation either, and let me explain further. Jaylon Johnson is still ramping up. He did not play the entire game against the 49ers. Coming off that core muscle surgery, is he not going to be able to play 100% of the snaps in the playoffs? I'm hoping he is, but only the Bears know that. And, if nothing else, if there's a scare of further injury, Trevon Diggs, veteran player, could provide some depth. Nahshon Wright, coming off a pretty poor game. Is Dallas concerned, or is Chicago concerned about how he's going to bounce back? You would think they'd feel pretty good about how he's going to play moving forward. He's had a good year, but that was a rough showing against San Francisco. And Tyrique Stevenson right now, he's kind of in a part-time role. He's dealt with a couple of minor injuries this year. So the point being, yes, they have 3 guys. They're all healthy right now, but there is some questions attached to all 3 of Jaylon Johnson, Nahshon Wright, and Tyrique Stevenson. Now, one thing that does make the Bears' potential pursuit of Trevon Diggs pretty interesting is there is a connection. That is defensive backs coach Al Harris. Al Harris, just like with Nahshon Wright, was the defensive backs coach for Trevon Diggs in Dallas from 2020 to 2024. And Trevon Diggs played his best football under Al Harris in Dallas, especially in those first 3 years before he dealt with a couple of injuries. His rookie year showed a lot of promise with 3 picks and 14 breakups. 2021, when he was an All-Pro, had 11 interceptions and 21 breakups. Kind of a Marcus Peters type of season where he was either making a great play or getting burned, but you pick the ball off 11 times and break up 21 more. I'm feeling pretty good about that. 2022, 3 picks, 14 breakups. In 2023, in only 2 games, had a pick and 3 breakups. And then last year in 11 games, 2 picks and 11 breakups. A bit of a feast or a famine player, but certainly played really, really well at times and had some high moments under Al Harris with the Dallas Cowboys. And the crazy thing about Trevon Diggs, feels like he's been around a while, which he has for about 6 years. He's 27. Like, you would think he was like 30 or 31, but you do wonder if there's still a decent amount left in the tank there, and if a team like Chicago would be interested in getting him on board. Now, coming up, is a Bears player actively recruiting Trevon Diggs, and does that player kind of have a similar path to something to relate to with Trevon Diggs when it comes to, getting a second opportunity? We'll explain here in just a moment, but I do have to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor. That is PrizePicks. They've been with us for years. It's been an awesome football season with PrizePicks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard, but in life and on PrizePicks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops, and PrizePicks lets you take control. Awesome new feature alert that they launched a few weeks back. PrizePicks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. You can also follow other PrizePicks players directly on the app. Just go to the feed tab and look around. You can search for me at HGramNFL and copy my lineups, other people's lineups in just one click, including this one. I got more on Caleb Williams' pass yards this weekend. He wants that 4,000. Jared Goff, I got the more on him as well. Even though it's outdoors, he's put up big numbers this year, and the Bears defense is struggling a bit. And then Kyle Monungai, I like him to find the end zone. Little demon play right there. 3-player lineup, $20 to win $80. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Now, Jordan Schultz tweeted this out saying, "My understanding of the Diggs situation is this. After the Cowboys finished their Christmas game against the Commanders, Diggs requested with head coach Brian Schottenheimer to stay in Washington for the holiday. Since he's from the area and his family stays there, players often ask for and are usually granted additional family time during the holidays if the schedule makes sense. Dallas played on Thursday. Schotty denied the request. Diggs again said he wanted to be with his family and that if he went back to Dallas, he'd just be flying right back on the first flight out, especially with players having several days off. The team vehemently denied his request again. And then today, the team released him. Diggs is healthy and ready to join a new team for the playoffs." So here's the question when it comes to Trevon Diggs. Is he washed? Is he over the hill? Have the injuries been too big of a problem? Is he, has he caused issues in the locker room there? Or does he simply need a fresh start? Is it time for a change after some injuries and a bit of a falling out with Dallas? Because you've heard chatter dating back to last year. He has dealt with a couple of injuries. There's been disagreements over the severity of injuries between him and Dallas over the last couple of years, and just doesn't seem like they've been on the same wavelength, especially with this coaching change this year. And sometimes in life, you just need a change. And you know who needed a change and who got a fresh start? CJ Gardner-Johnson. CJ Gardner-Johnson tweeted this out when it comes to Trevon Diggs. Just a tweet from him on social media from one of those, I think it was Bleacher Report here, and saying, "Where should Trevon Diggs sign?" And he said, "Bear emoji, eye emoji." And CJ Gardner-Johnson knows more than anybody about getting a fresh start and a new opportunity. He said it in one of the post-game locker rooms. He said, "I've been at home for 2 months, missing ball. Didn't know when I was going to play again. Signs with the Bears," and it hasn't been perfect in terms of his play on the field, but he's fit in great in the locker room, and he's played pretty damn well, filling in for Kyler Gordon, who's been hurt a lot. And clearly he likes Al Harris too. He said on the Sunday Night Football broadcast when the players introduced themselves, "CD Deuce, Al Harris University." So this guy knows what Al Harris can do. CJ Gardner-Johnson understands how blessed he was to get this opportunity with Chicago, and maybe he is viewing himself a little bit with Trevon Diggs' situation. Like, hey, come here. You can get a fresh start. So we'll see what happens. This is a guy with a lot of talent. He's only 27 years old. The last couple of years hasn't gone great, but it's not like his career is over. I don't buy the idea that he's completely washed. And I also wonder, is there a long-term angle to this with Trevon Diggs and the Chicago Bears? Could the Bears bring him on board late in the year, probably more as depth and a little competition and an insurance policy than just a plug-and-play starter? I don't think he would sign here and play right away. But if you look at next year, there could be opportunities for a guy like Trevon Diggs to kind of hit the reset button in his career with the Chicago Bears. So Jaylon Johnson's under contract. Barring a surprise, he'll be here. Tyrique Stevenson's under contract, but it is the last year of his rookie deal. Nahshon Wright's a free agent, and that's going to be a big debate among Bears fans, probably within that front office. Do we pay him or not? Because currently, the Bears have limited cap space. They're going to have to move some money around to sign guys. And I could see a guy like Nahshon Wright getting pretty big money in free agency because teams always overpay. That could be an interesting situation. Zah Frazier, that's a complete unknown. I don't think you can enter next season with any expectation other than he could be a backup. McCloud, outside corner, nickel hybrid. He's actually a free agent. That was a typo there. I don't know why I put under contract. So he's out as well. So the only guys you know for sure are going to be here and be guys that you'd feel comfortable playing with are Jaylon Johnson, who, by the way, missed most of the season with an injury, Tyrique Stevenson, who's had an up and down 3 years and has been banged up a little bit this year. That's it. That's really all you have at outside corner. And I wonder, could Trevon Diggs be next year's version of Nahshon Wright? And what I mean by that, because their career paths haven't been the same. Nahshon Wright was a career, kind of a bust, backup, journeyman, hadn't worked out. Then this year, he's played well. Diggs has had good seasons. He does have skins on the wall. But what I mean is, could he come here to a good situation, especially if Al Harris is still here, hit the reset button, play for the Bears, play well, and then like Nahshon Wright might this offseason, go get paid the next year? Because a real scenario here is that Nahshon Wright gets paid in free agency by another team. It just, the Bears like, you know what, here, maybe they don't make an offer or they make an offer that's team friendly, and Wright and his reps are like, this is my one chance to get paid, and some team pays him big money, and hey, more power to him. Like, if I was Nahshon Wright, I'm trying to get top dollar because this is probably my best chance to get paid. Well, maybe Trevon Diggs can sign with Chicago now, late in the year, probably be a backup, but then next year compete for a starting role. Hey, you and Tyrique Stevenson, you guys compete. Because that's what ended up happening this year, is him and Nahshon Wright competed. Jaylon got hurt, so both Tyrique and Nahshon were the starters. And as it played out, and especially when Tyrique got banged up, Nahshon Wright just earned a starting role, and Tyrique became the CB3. It could be the same thing next year. Jaylon Johnson's your CB1 when healthy. Tyrique Stevenson and Trevon Diggs compete to be your CB2. You get Diggs on a really cheap deal to prove his opportunity with this football team. And if he plays and plays well, hey, go get paid and sign elsewhere in 2027. I could absolutely see a scenario like that playing out between Diggs and the Chicago Bears. So I ask you, should the Bears sign Trevon Diggs? Type S for sign or P for pass. I think I'd be pretty interested in bringing him on board. Not because I think he's going to make a huge difference this year, but again, you get him in your building, you see how he vibes with the guys. He's a good insurance option, like compared to like Jaylon Jones or someone like that. And who knows? Maybe you re-sign him and he's on your football team next year. And if he's not, no harm, no foul. It's not like you spent a lot of money to sign him for the playoffs if that's the situation that arises. So I'm open to bringing him in. I would imagine if another playoff team offers him a guaranteed starting role or a better path to playing, then he'd probably choose that. As you look at some of the playoff teams here, like, the 49ers have been banged up. Would they promise him a better opportunity to playing? The Rams secondary isn't great. Could certainly see that being a possibility. Maybe a team like the Steelers, if they do make the postseason, because they always get pretty aggressive in these situations when big names free up. Buffalo, their secondary has been pretty spotty this year, so you never know. But if the Bears are interested and he's interested in the Bears and it's just vet minimum for the playoffs with an opportunity to re-sign next year, hey, I'd be pretty open to at least experimenting with that idea to get him in the building and to get him around the guys. Now, as far as when he'll sign, tomorrow he'll clear waivers unless some team claims him, which I'd be surprised. I doubt he'll sign before Week 18 because, number one, he wouldn't play in Week 18. He's not going to practice one day and then play. And number two, some of the teams that might be interested maybe haven't clinched yet. Like the Steelers, I could see be interested. Well, if they lose, they're out. So he doesn't want to sign with the team that might not even make the playoffs. So I'm guessing he'll let the playoffs play out and then make a decision early the following week, assuming he draws interest, which I would expect to be the case. So you guys sound off in the comments. My name is Harrison Graham. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Chicago Bears Now. We will continue to pump out content. New Year's Eve tomorrow, we'll have a couple of videos. Stay safe out there and bear down.